Well, I know we were expecting some Dragon Age news this week, but I don't think this is what any of us were expecting. In case you're unaware, Bioware has come out and said that they've changed the name for their next Dragon Age game. Originally known as Dragon Age Dreadwolf, it's now known as Dragon Age Veilguard. And this news, yeah, has taken a lot of us by surprise because I don't think anyone was expecting this, especially this late in development. And I definitely wasn't expecting it after I put out a video about the development of Dragon Age Dreadwolf, and now I have to go back and change that title because it's slightly irrelevant. Now, Bioware put everything up on their blog, which I'm going to go through now and just kind of make heads or tails of what's going on. So in this blog post, which is put up by Gary McKay, which isn't that long, so this shouldn't take too long. Hi everyone, summer is nearly upon us, and as promised we're ready to provide an update on our next big reveal. We'd like to invite the world to join us on Tuesday, June 11th for the official first look at gameplay for the next Dragon Age. Okay, first off, first paragraph, we know when we're getting a proper reveal. It's Tuesday, June 11th. Kinda sucks it's midweek. Don't know why they decided that. Obviously, Summer Game Fest this Friday the 7th, and Xbox Have Their Showcase on Sunday the 9th. I suppose they wanted to avoid those. I don't know why they didn't just push it back to the Friday or the Saturday of the following week, because a midweek reveal just kind of sucks for everybody who's in work, because I'm already taking Thursday off next week for a doctor's appointment. I cannot take Tuesday off as well, just because I want to watch some Dragon Age videos. Well, maybe hopefully I can sneak away for a few minutes to watch it on my phone. Maybe I can find a reason to go to the storeroom or hide in the bathrooms. Well, we'll see. Anyway, after Dragon Age Inquisition launched, the studio was given an incredible opportunity to explore, test, and validate a variety of gameplay concepts as we work to determine what the next Dragon Age could look like. Well, it's good that they did look at it and examine a lot of stuff. Like, even if something doesn't actually make it into a game, I guess like them playing around with it and getting to explore and test it, as they say, like at least they know it's not going to work for them. It's not going to be something that's going to work in the next game, so they know that before they actually end up putting it into a game, and it's the fans that tells them. Better they find out themselves. We brought everything to the table, which, yes, even included a multiplayer concept. Don't think Bioware brought it to the table. Pretty sure that would have been more EA's choice, but whatever. The time we spent experimenting and iterating gradually taught us a lot. This work and the amazing support from EA helped us refocus on creating an incredible single-player game with all the choices, characters and world building you'd expect from us. First of all, single-player game. We did know this. This was something that was leaked, like, I think last year or the year before. Maybe before that. No, it was leaked back when Anthem came out and Star Wars Jedi Survivor, so no, it's actually a few years ago. But yeah, no, it's just great to have an official, proper statement saying that it's a single-player game. I mean, if it had the multiplayer elements from Inquisition, I wouldn't have cared too much. Like, I didn't really play that. I did play the Mass Effect 3 one, and I loved that one's multiplayer. I wouldn't have cared too much had they put in a multiplayer element like an Inquisition, as long as the main team didn't lose manpower or funding to do it. But above all else, I would just prefer pure single player. And obviously they're saying they're really doubling down on choices, characters and world building. It's nice to hear them say that, but that's, in my opinion, it's not something Bioware has never done. I think choices, characters and world building have worked well across all their Dragon Age and Mass Effect games, but it's still nice that they're saying this, like, yes, this is our priority, above all else, is these three core things that we are so well known for. At Bioware, we create worlds of adventure, conflict and companionship, where you're the centre of it all. As fans of our franchise know, every Dragon Age game has delivered a new standalone story. Set in the world of Thedas, these tales explore epic locales and threats, always thrusting you into new conflict. Each game also introduces a new hero, the Warden, Hawk, the Inquisitor, that you can call your own. You can expect all that and more with the new game, and of course, much like your unique hero, it won't be a Dragon Age game without an amazing cast of companions, right? So yeah, like, pretty standard stuff there. Just kind of talking up what makes a Bioware game a Bioware game. You know, it's the companions, it's your character that you got to tailor. You know, no two Wardens are like no two Hawks, no two Inquisitors are alike. So, nothing really new. Kind of wish maybe they gave us a bit more to the hero. You know, we have that from the leak and some other stuff that the character's name is going to be Rook, or at least that's going to be their title or code name or something. Would have been nice had they maybe dropped that here and given us a little bit, but you know, it is what it is. Each of the 7 new characters that make up your companions will have deep and compelling storylines, where the decisions you make will impact your relationship with them, as well as their lives. Okay, so we'll look at that first. 7 unique characters that are your companions. Okay, so 7 companions, which puts them roughly in the middle of Dragon Age games as it comes by. So Origins had 9. 3 warriors, 2 rogues, 2 mages, and then the 2 unique companions, True Dog and Shale. Technically 10 if you count Loghain, but to have Loghain you have to replace Alistair, so at max at any point you could only ever have 9. Dragon Age 2 then gave you 9, but mainly 6/7 for the whole game, depending on how you looked at it. You got 2 warriors, 3 rogues, but one of those was Sebastian, who you got through DLC, 2 mages, and then you had the twins, which was 1 mage, 1 warrior, but you never had a playthrough where you have Carver and Bethany. It was always one or the other. And of course, they weren't around for most of the game, only being available in Act 1 and then the ending of Act 3 plus the DLC. So they kind of feel like temporary companions, not full temporary companions, but kinda. And then Inquisition, we had a full 9, 3 of each, which I liked. It was great to have, 3 warriors, 3 rogues, 3 mages, because depending on what class you were, you could do like an all-warrior group or an all-mage party, and it was really cool. 7 seems to be dropping it a bit. I wonder if there'll be a DLC companion. I really, really hope not. I like Shale, and I even like Sebastian to a bit, but I don't want to have to pay for an extra companion. I don't mind how it came across like with Talus in Dragon Age 2, where she was a companion through like a specific story-based DLC that was just for her. That's fine. And like how the companions in the DLCs for Origins work, like in Witch Hunt or Awakening and all of that. But I really, really don't want another Shale experience. I think everyone is kind of past that. I think EA and Bioware are done with that, especially after like everything happened, like the controversy with Javik back in Mass Effect 3. I think they're just kind of not going to be doing that. So what are we going to be getting? So I have a theory with 7 at the moment. I think it'd be like 2 warriors, 2 rogues, 2 mages, and then maybe 1 unique companion. Similar how Shale and Dog were their own sort of unique classes. Even though they had warrior traits and abilities, they had their own unique abilities that set them apart from Sten and Alistair and Oghren. So I think that could be it. But I'm kind of drawn to the whole 7 unique characters. I'm assuming when they mean this, what they actually mean is just they're 7 different people, their storylines are different, their character arcs are different. You're not going to be the same. Like the mages aren't the same, the warriors aren't the same, the rogues aren't the same. Everyone is unique and different. Unless what they mean is they are completely 100% unique. That they do not have even the same abilities as each other or yourself. So if you've got 2 warriors, they all have their own skills and traits to work through. So if you have 2 warriors, then these 2 warriors are nothing alike. And if you're playing as a warrior, you're nothing like those 2, if that makes sense. I don't think that's what they mean. When they say 7 unique characters, I think they're just saying that their uniqueness comes more from their story and how they are written and how they will develop throughout the game. I don't think this comes across as each character is wildly different in gameplay wise from you and from each other. I think I'm reading way too much into that. I've also heard something about companions. I saw it on Twitter, but I haven't been able to find any proof of it, that the game will only have 2 companions you can bring with you at a time, kind of like Mass Effect, where it's just, Mass Effect, it's Shepard or Ryder and their 2 companions, and that's what we're going to have in this one. I hope that's not the case. If it is, I don't really mind that much, but I've gotten so used to Dragon Age being the hero plus 3 companions, and I really, really hope it stays like that. I think reducing the amount of companions to just 2 with you at any given time, it's not something I like. I hope they don't do it. They might, but I really, really hope they don't. Anyway, back to the blog. You'll like to see on Unforgettable Heroes as you take on a terrifying new threat unleashed on the world. Okay, so new threat. I don't we're pretty sure that's meant to be the Evanuris. Makes the most sense unless something else pops up to surprise us, but I'm pretty sure it's meant to be the Evanuris. And that new threat unleashed, I'm guessing Solus did that. Naturally, the Dreadwolf still has an important part in this tale, but you and your companions, not your enemies, are the heart of this new experience. And this line kind of sets up why the title of the game has been changed. So to capture what this game is all about, we changed the name as the original title didn't show just how strongly we feel about our new heroes, their stories, and how you'll need to bring them together to save all of Thedas. We proudly introduce you to Dragon Age Veilguard. Okay, so the whole new title, my thoughts are kind of 50-50. I literally saw this as I was leaving work, and I had basically the whole ride home thinking about this new title and what I thought of it. And you know what? Wasn't mad on it when I saw it, but in that hour and a half-ish it took me to get home, it's kind of won me over. Here they say the game's not about your enemies, it's about your companions and your heroes. And to me, that makes sense. Why name the game after Solus / the Dreadwolf? He's the villain supposedly. Why would he have any... why would the game be named after him? The games are... bar Dragon Age 2 are related to you, the hero. A big part of Origins is the origin story, and who you are as a character and how you grow from the start to the end, how you're a different person. Inquisition is about the Inquisition and you as its leader, the Inquisitor. So obviously those names make sense. So yeah, Veilguard should be named after you, and I'm going to assume that's the teams, group, faction, organization, whatever you're called, that you're leading, where you're going to be playing a member of the Veilguard. It's kind of always been thought that we would be an agent of the Inquisition. Maybe we still are, maybe we're allied with the Inquisition, or we are actually an agent of it, and our just group name is known as the Veilguard. We're put together as kind of like a Expendables A-team kind of group that has to do this impossible task, and we've been given a name, the Veilguard. Which, it's a bit silly. I do think it's a bit silly, but I also think just Dragon Age is a bit silly. If you don't know the story, the title Dragon Age came basically because they wrote two lists of names and just kept going through it and going, which two work well together? And they just settled with Dragon Age. Like, it's a good name, it catches the eye, I guess, but like, it really means nothing. So, Veilguard, being silly, yes, but it's also, it's fine. It's grand. I wasn't married to Dreadwolf as a title, but you know, it's something. We know you've been waiting a long time for this reveal, and we're so ready to show you what we've been up to. We'll see you on Tuesday, June 11 at 8 AM PT at the Dragon Age YouTube channel, with over 15 minutes of gameplay from the opening moments of the game that has you jumping back into Thedas on your new adventure. This moment means so much to everyone at Bioware, and we wouldn't be here without you. We're ready to have some fun, so join the chat early. We've got a few special surprises for you. Oh, okay. Thank you for your support. See you soon. Gary McKay, Executive Producer, Dragon Age, and General Manager, Bioware. Okay, as I said, June 11th, Tuesday, midweek, or not midweek, early week. It's a weekday anyway. Not too mad on that. 8 AM PT. Sorry, Pacific Coast, you are kind of screwed. Better wake up early and tell work you're going to be late, or hopefully just take public transport to work that day and watch it on the bus. I'm in Ireland, so that is 3 PM for me, so it's literally like the earliest I can usually get out of work is 4, so I'm not going to be able to watch it as it goes live. I mean, I'm sitting at my desk and I usually have headphones in listening to a music or podcast, so as long as I'm not needed for anything, maybe I can watch it out of the corner of my eye and just not mention what's going on if somebody asks. I do plan on doing a kind of breakdown reaction video of it later that evening, so basically, the second I get home, I'll start recording and editing a reaction. Okay, and then it comes on that it's from the opening moments of the game. So, if you all remember, last year there was a leak that showed off a little bit of gameplay at the start, where it was our hero Rook, who was supposedly in this a Grey Warden, leading a bunch of Grey Wardens fighting off some Darkspawn at Weisshaupt Fortress. And if you watched my development of Dragon Age Dreadwolf, I theorised that this gameplay clip was from the start of the game, and it was the Grey Warden origin. The idea is that origins are coming back for this game, it's just a theory, but instead of it being based around your race or class like in Origins, it's instead based around which organisation you're a part of. So the Grey Wardens, the Antivan Crows, Lords of Fortunes, the Ben Hastrath. And I thought, oh, that section that we saw, that leaked bit of video, that was the Grey Warden origin that we saw. That's just a theory, I have no actual proof about that, but I think it's just a good theory and I really like it, and maybe if that's right, maybe this is what those 15 minutes could be. Maybe we're going to watch the Grey Warden or the Antivan Crow origin story. When they showed off the other games, I wasn't following the development of Origin, so I can't comment on that. For Dragon Age 2, I'm pretty sure what they showed off was like the opening of the game. Yeah, when you're fleeing Lothering, I'm pretty sure that's what they showed off, along with some stuff about Isabella's recruitment mission, I believe. And then for Inquisition, they were showing off the Crestwood section of the game, which obviously looked very different than what it was released. So it makes sense for them not to do what they did with Inquisition, but to go back and show off the start of the game rather than the midpoint of the game, because you get a bit more of a better impression of the game from the start. So hopefully it'll be good. And yeah, so hopefully this will be like giving us enough detail, but not, spoiling anything, helping build up the hype, but not essentially, giving us all the information straight away. I also like that it's 15 minutes. So, not too long, not too short. I kind of didn't want it to be a half an hour or more. Definitely didn't want it to be only be a couple of minutes, like with a quick teaser. So it's nice to see just something simple and in the middle. Now, slightly related to that, we have this tweet here by Michael Gamble, where he kind of goes into the name change a little bit. He kind of notes that people will probably be questioning, why did we change it now? Like, why wasn't it changed before? It seems that this change from Dreadwolf to Veilguard was made quite a while ago. I imagine shortly after New Year, maybe around January, February makes the most sense. But they didn't see a point on announcing it straight away. I suppose, why would you announce it straight away? Like, it would kind of look maybe a bit too, I don't want to say incompetent, but like you were trying to backtrack on your choice very soon after you announce it. So it makes sense that they'd reveal the name change now, just a few days before we get the big reveal of everything, rather than say announce it in January or February, where I said, yeah, they might look a little bit incompetent, like they're backtracking on their choices, or release it in like April or May, when the gap between when we're actually going to see all the news is just too big and it kind of gets forgotten about, or people just start theorizing, why was it changed, blah 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 blah, the game is in hell, it's gonna suck. So it makes sense to kind of announce a change of the title right now. Coming from the title of Veilguard, it obviously must refer to our role, similar to Inquisition. The game was called Inquisition because we were the Inquisitor leading the Inquisition to save the world. This game is called Veilguard because we are leading the Veilguard to keep the veil intact. I imagine that's our goal, maybe at the start of the game. We're not there to hunt down Solus and kill him. We're not there to stop the Dreadwolf. We're there just to make sure that the veil stays intact. And that's where our title comes from. So that makes a lot of sense. If that's going to be the main story, then it makes sense as the title for the game. We are the Veilguard. We're the ones who will guard the veil. How good we're going to be at that, I don't know. I do imagine the veil gets torn down. We've seen some concept art and stuff that seems that the Evaners do get out. It's kind of implied that they won't stay trapped behind a veil. Maybe not all of them get out. Maybe the veil becomes damaged. Some of them get out, but the rest are still trapped. And that's the plot of the game. Solus weakens the veil at the start. Everything starts falling apart. 2 or 3 of the Evaners escape. So out of all the ones I think come back, I think Elgar'nan is most likely to come back. He makes the most sense. God of Vengeance, the Allfather, he's the main one. Kinda has a bit of a shitty history and lore behind him, so it makes sense, bring that guy back. At the end of the Thedas Calls trailer revealed at the last Dragon Age, we get this overview of a character talking. I imagine that's Elgar'nan. I think Gillinan might be the next one, known as the Mother of Hala. She is supposedly one who kind of create a bunch of really messed up creatures during her time, like horrible sea creatures and horrible monsters, and she was kind of forced to strike them all down, but she hid some of them, and some like the worst of the worst are still hidden out there somewhere. Supposedly like the sea creatures are the ones she really tried to protect. And since we've seen some concept art and other stuff of giant sea creatures, including the brief shot of a kraken in the Thedas Calls trailer, I think Gillinan makes a lot of sense as the other one to come back. I think it's just those 2. I doubt there'll be more. 2 is probably enough. Maybe 3 and we kill/defeat one of them very early in the game. I would say if I was going to make a bet, it's definitely Elgar'nan and Gillinan. They just make the most sense narrative-wise. And then you still got Solus the Dreadwolf and Mythal possibly playing a role some way or form in the story. The last thing I want to bring up, the change from Dreadwolf to Veilguard, I just wonder what Solus's role in this story will now be. Dreadwolf, as the title implied, that Solus was going to be important from start to finish as an antagonist of some sort. I wonder how much of that has been kept. Is he like an antagonist at the start and then becomes an ally? Is he kind of this other faction at play, neither with us or against us, just kind of doing his own thing, and we have to kind of deal with him later on? Will Solus die at the start of the game? Like, will he weaken the veil? Elgar'nan comes out and then Elgar'nan just like rips his head off or something, and we're like, oh damn, all the Solus Mancers are like really heartbroken out there, but oh well, I never romanced him, so I don't care if he dies. That's probably going to get me some flack, but we'll see. But anyway, that's kind of all of the news. As I said, there's been a few things I've seen pop up on Twitter here and there from different people, but I don't have any sources to any of them. I'll go through what I've seen, but I said I don't have a source for any of this, so I assume this is leaks from people who are in the know, and whether they're fact or not, I don't know. I have a good feeling they probably are, so most of it seems to just be rehashing what was already stated, but we have each companion intends to represent different factions in the game, have their own arcs with stories of love and loss, with each with meaningful choices and emotional moments. So if each one's going to be from a different faction, that would make a good bit of sense, because then we'd have someone like a Grey Warden, an Antivan Crow, a Lord of Fortune, a Ben Hasrith, a member of the Magisterium, and then maybe a member of the Inquisition. So each one was from a different group. It would offer a nice variety of not only gameplay, but also just story and opinions from the characters, because obviously if they represent specific factions, not just their own interests and your interests, but actual big power players in the world, then they're going to also be thinking about that. You know, how does this choice affect the Grey Wardens? How does it affect the Antivan Crows? And I can imagine that being a bit of contention between you and your companions, so that'll be interesting to see. So apparently we're also going to see more regions with Thedas than ever before. I vaguely remember seeing a post that was like, you'll see old places and new places, so that's interesting. So maybe we'll still have like the old places like Ferelden and Orlais and Kirkwall, but we'll see the new places like Antiva, Ravane, Deanderfels, and of course Tevinter, which I think out of every location we can go to, that's the one everyone, myself included, wants to see most of all. It does also tease that there's another big villain beyond Solus, so yeah, I think, as I said, that makes the most sense. Dreadwolf is important, but he's not the end-all be-all. He's not the big bad of this story, which for a Bioware game makes a lot of sense. You know, Dragon Age Origins implies that the Blight is the biggest threat, but then Loghain ends up playing a bigger threat throughout the game until the very end. Inquisition implies the Mage Templar War is the most important thing, but then we get revealed Carivius and the Venatori are actually the bigger threat to the world. Mass Effect, at least for Mass Effect 1, is the same. It's implied, you know, Saren and the Geth are the threat, and then it gets revealed to be the Reapers, and then it's just the Reapers for the rest of the trilogy. So, kind of setting up one villain and then revealing another isn't anything new for a Bioware game. I guess now they're just telling us in advance rather than it being a surprise in-game. And finally, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of places say, bring 2 companions similar to Mass Effect. I guess this must be fact. I'm just not entirely mad on it. But anyway, that's kind of everything we know about Veilguard so far with my opinions. We're going to get a lot more in just a few days. And you guys can check back here. I should have some videos going out on Tuesday about Veilguard once we kind of see everything. And more Dragon Age videos coming out after that as well. What are your guys' thoughts on the name Veilguard? Do you like it more than Dreadwolf or less than Dreadwolf? Are you kind of indifferent? Do you see why they changed it? As I said, I was not entirely mad on it at the start, but I do agree with it, and in a very brief amount of time it has won me over. If you guys like this video, do leave a like and a comment. It is greatly appreciated, as it will help the channel grow. Don't forget you can check me out on Twitter and on Medium, and of course you can subscribe to the channel to stay updated on all content going forward. And I shall see you all next time.